आर्यन 5 साल का हो गया, उसको चीज स्लाइस से प्लास्टिक निकालना नहीं आता है।
तो क्या हो गया?
कल मैंने देखा मेड ने निकाल के दिया।
मेड को पैसे मिलते हैं इस चीज के, मेड का काम है ये करना।
यूजलेस बना रही हो बच्चों को यार। शू लेसेस उसको बांधना नहीं आता है, और तो और स्कूल में जाके वाटर बॉटल छोड़ के आता है, जैसे पैसे तो पेड़ में उग रहे हैं।
तो क्या हो गया अगर वो छोड़ के आ गया? सीख लेगा।
कब सीखेगा शालिनी, कब? When I was at his age, I was doing everything for myself. Both my parents, where they were working. I had my younger brother and sister to take care of. Still, I was in charge of the family.
Seriously, you are comparing a 5-year-old with yourself. Your circumstances and his are completely different. So please do not compare.
Halini, what I am just saying, he needs to be independent. He needs to take care of himself. If you do everything for him or ask the maid to do everything for him, he will never learn.
Listen, don't start fighting with me and spoil my mood early in the morning. I have a brunch to go to with Ravina and I'm getting late.
So please. You have brunch today, you have lunch tomorrow. Who will take care of the house? Shalini, please look at me.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to our podcast, Raising Stars, once again. And we have with us Yukti. Yukti has done many hats. She's been a journalist. She's been an early child education person, and as well as now she's into baking and she's a cake stylist. Welcome, Yukti.
Thank you, Rashmi.
So nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
Yukti, we're speaking about polarized parenting. Polarized parenting, it's actually kahani ghar ghar ki. Father says yes to something, mother says no to the same thing, and the child is kind of confused at times, and sometimes he's so clever he plays one against the other. So I'll just tell you about my friend. One of my friends is a painter, and she believes a lot in unconventional education, the Waldorf school, where they believe a lot in nature and not pressurizing the kid and that kind of education. And her husband is IIT IIM person, and he believes very strongly in rigorous training, discipline, and conventional education. So they fight every day. And then finally, though the kids are involved of, later on, the father developed cold feet. And then when the kids were in 5th, 6th standard, the father couldn't take it anymore. And he was like, now let's shift the kids to the conventional. So sometimes I think it's not fair on the kids. And sometimes I think that when parents fight in this way, they should think about a middle path wherein it's a win-win situation where both the parents are doing a little bit of give and take. What is your take on this? Because first of all, I want to know whether you also encounter such situations.
Absolutely. There is no doubt about it.
Okay.
Polarized parenting, as we say, as you rightly said, it's prevalent in every single house. And rightly so, because he comes from a different background. I come from a different background. His
Different
upbringing is
upbringing.
different. My upbringing is totally different. तो ये तो होना ही है. पर how to settle this off is, I think there is no right way or wrong way to do it. But as far as the kids are concerned, for them, the parenting should be one. Our thought processes are different, but the parents should not be pitted against, or the child should not have the thing, yeah, we definitely know that the father is not going to agree to this. We'll go for this time, we'll go to the mother for this, and for this thing, we'll go to the father.
Okay,
right.
So in front of the children, you all are on the same page. You all
yes.
should be on
so
the
in
same
front
page.
of the children, you should be on the same page. You may choose to disagree, and you may choose to agree to disagree, and disagreement in front of the children slightly is okay, but not to a conflict level.
Okay.
Right? One parent should, at one point of time, if it's not so grossly wrong, should learn how to just keep quiet at that point of time. Any one parent, whoever it is, either the father sometimes the mother, either one of them, for certain time while the child is standing down, I think. This is my personal experience.
They should show the maturity.
They should show that maturity to the children, that for you, we are together. We don't have a different point of view as far as you are growing up. Now, education is also another point that every single parent
household
has a conflict on it.
conflict.
Right. I've had that in my house too.
So how did you resolve this polarized parenting in your house?
With respect to education,
Yeah.
so the thing is, I could see that in my elder son, that he was good with numbers, and he was good with history.
Okay.
Science was still, he was good with it, but I think he would have done better without the science. He could have done better without the science also.
So
My
he could have
husband-
studied history.
He could have studied history, he could have studied commerce,
Okay.
but my husband was of the opinion that no, like the traditional Indian way,
Yeah.
that science is the best
Engineering.
subject, engineering karo. So I kept quiet. I said, "ठीक है, I mean, it doesn't go wrong. You know, you can always, in India and in the Indian system, from science, you can always come down, but you cannot alter, you know, the other way around."
Yeah.
So I chose to keep quiet, though I knew within my heart that it may not work the best way for him, but he's doing well. He's doing decently well for himself. He may switch careers from the engineering later. He may,
But
he
at
may
least
not.
he'll have a degree.
He'll have a degree, but that's one point of view. But I feel if he would like to have to study something nicely, maybe he would have done that.
His
Happy,
he would enjoy the subject
enjoy.
more.
But okay, so then that is where, then if the child is so strong about it, probably I would have taken his side.
The child
put my foot
how
down.
was the child? The child was okay.
The child was good with studies, and he was okay to
okay.
study science. So I said, fine, then let's go with the flow. Why should I put my foot down for something that I'm not? I mean, I am sure though, but I can't put a foot down for my children if they don't want to put their foot down.
Yeah, he
Right.
was okay with studies.
He was okay with studies. Had I seen, so polarized parenting, mein again, we had a different view. We still hold a different view with respect to my younger son. But again, I'm taking it by the day. My husband will also, I'm sure he will also come around should my child want to stand up against it, against something. But then that's where I will have to kind of draw the balance somewhere and figure this out. But the only thing that happens is that one of us has to be very, very vigilant, the parent. One is always in a household, parent will always be more observant. The other one will always, be
usually I have a feeling moms are more
Usually, because you'd
vigilant,
spend
because
10
they spend more time with the kid and they seem to be more in tune with.
Usually, but there are sometimes that the fathers are also very
Also.
sensitive. I wouldn't deny that
Yeah,
fact.
that was
So
true.
every household is different. Every person is different. Yeah, mostly it's the moms, but definitely there are some times where the fathers are more sensitive to this. My father was, so I would give that to him too. So polarized parenting happened in my house. When I was growing up.
Okay.
Polarized parenting is happening in my house now.
So it's
Also,
always been there.
It's always there. It's just that I think
Now
the
we are more
conflict should not be there.
So you can debate, but there's no need to get into blows. There's no need to.
So accusations
go
nahi
down.
hone chahiye.
It shouldn't get nasty.
It should not get nasty.
Especially in front of the kids, it should
Definitely
not.
not. Definitely. That is one thing that I and my husband were very, very sure of, that we will keep quiet. If we have a disagreement, let one of us keep quiet. Now, and then we will resolve it behind closed doors.
Okay.
And then come around.
But you all are very conscious. You will not fight
conscious.
in front of the kids.
We try not to.
But again, I think, it's so easy in the heat of the moment to say nasty things. It's something which you would have had to develop over the years.
Yes.
It's not something
It's a
that
practice.
came overnight, right?
How meditation is a practice. This is a
Same.
practice. It's a practice to keep quiet and constantly tell yourself that it is not so grossly wrong.
Remind
Right?
yourself.
Remind yourself. Things are not going anywhere. We are still together. We can always have a conversation over a cup of coffee. And another thing that I've realized, I don't like to have a conversation at home. I always step out for a cup of coffee with him outside.
With your husband.
With my husband. And that's where I like to have that conversation.
It's another space.
So then you talk like friends. It's another space.
Yeah. So you actually may be able to work out a win-win situation far more easier and in a much more civilized and
way.
happy way.
Because it's easier to bang doors inside the house.
You wouldn't do that in a public area.
You wouldn't do that, right? And the proximity at which you sit and have a cup of coffee, at home, it's not the same. TV chal raha hai, ghanti baj rahi hai. There are, maid is asking, the child is running. There's multiple things that are going on in your head. There is no focused conversation. So we go out for a cup of coffee and then we talk about it. That is if you want to really discuss something.
That's awesome. That's really nice. It's a very good input that, me personally and our viewers will
Yeah.
also definitely
Yeah.
benefit. So I've got a lot from this conversation. Firstly, you don't have to be nasty to each other. You can have different points of views, but definitely in front of the children, you're not supposed to fight.
Right.
And secondly, yes, stepping out of the house, going to a cafe, and reasoning things out, that would work much more effectively.
I think so.
It would. I'm sure
Yeah.
it would.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
My
Yukti,
pleasure.
for
Yeah.
these lovely gems. I have actually taken a lot from this conversation, and we will definitely, and even our audience would definitely want to nip polarized parenting in the bud, and they have learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers to that. Welcome, Havovi. I'm so honored to have you on our show. Dr. Havovi Bhagwagar has been a psychologist and psychotherapist for 25 years now, which is a long, long time. And we are so happy to have her on our show and learn as much as we can from her on how to tackle polarized parenting. Doctor, do you feel that polarized parenting is on the rise?
Yes, definitely. Firstly, thank you for having me on the show. And I would say that polarized parenting is on the rise primarily because of, I think, the social media onslaught, and there is just so much happening in terms of information overload.
Okay.
So, because of that, I think parents tend to consume content differently. Everybody has different interests, right? So,
True.
because they consume content differently, they tend to bring that into their parenting,
Oh,
which was not so much earlier.
okay.
So especially parents are watching different types of shows which are sometimes inspired not from our culture,
From the West.
from the West, also from different parts of the country, and they get confused in the way that they try to bring that into their parenting practices. So
It's not a
that's-
healthy trend, I guess.
it's not a healthy trend because it tends to confuse the family.
Okay.
I often hear in my clinic, parents coming and saying, we read this, or we heard this, or we saw it on a show, or some, maybe, I don't know how dubious or not dubious psychologist or counselor said this, and we heard it. So we want to practice this with our child. But then the, partner may have a completely opposite view because they're consuming completely different content. And then all of this is, the child becomes like the scapegoat onto which all this content is kind of experimented on. And that's why I think it's a lot more on the rise, primarily because there is too much of content consumption.
So
that's
how
happening.
do we deal with it on a day-to-day basis? Because on a day-to-day basis, there are so many things that crop up.
Right.
The father says, okay, let him go to the sleepover. The mother says, no, I don't know the family. I don't know what type of people they are. I'm not sending him for sleepover.
Correct.
So, these things are very common.
Right.
So how do you make sure that your child is not getting confused? Or your
Correct.
child is not, now since kids are smart, how do you make sure that they are not playing one parent against the other?
Right.
So how do you empower yourself to first understand that a little bit of discussion is healthy also, but where should I draw the line that this is not healthy any longer?
That's a great question, actually. I have seen over the years, while, like I was saying, social media onslaught and content consumption, all these things are reason for polarized parenting rising. But it's not like polarized parenting was not there when I began my practice 25 years ago. It's just that the issues were different.
Okay.
But if we, or perhaps the way it played out with their kids is different. But if we look at humans, their emotions remain pretty much constant.
True.
Whether they are in India or they are somewhere other part of the world, or you are looking at the way parenting was done several years ago versus now, maybe certain things have changed because of the influences, but some things remain pretty constant. One of which is that parents, because of their differences in personality, will have certain amount of polarizing. That will happen.
That is a given.
That's a given. That's not, I mean, that's the reason that they got married in the first place, right?
Because opposites attract.
Yeah, and there's some level or some degree of something they were missing in themselves that they saw in the other person.
Oh,
Now, how can we expect them to change that at a very root level? We can't. That is going to
So,
be there. Yeah.
So accept that.
Accept that. It's just that whatever their differences are as a couple doesn't come in front of the kid. That's when it becomes a problem. Their clashes in personality, their differences in the way they are looking at life, all that becomes a problem for the child. That's where I think parents have to step in and be mindful.
Can you give me some tips on how to be mindful, like uh, some way wherein we understand that अभी अभी बस अभी इस बारे में बात नहीं करते.
Yeah.
So
I
what are the
think
symptoms?
I think the first thing is that it'll come from your children itself.
Oh,
Yeah. So if you have a child coming and telling you something like, mom, dad doesn't tell you these, doesn't do this, that's why I'm coming to you. Or you're getting, constantly you feel like you have set a limit, but that limit is not being followed because it is overridden by your partner's limit.
okay. If mummy is not giving pocket money, I'll go to daddy for pocket money.
That is one thing, but second is also you're finding your voice is not being heard in the home. Your
Oh.
partner's voice is becoming louder, or you feel that every time you're setting a boundary, it's leading to a fight with the partner. Then these are red alerts to watch out for.
These are red flags.
Definitely. Your child coming and telling you firstly that
That is a big one.
yeah,
You
because
should
children are
understand
very
them.
clever, particularly teenagers. So they catch on to these conflicts between the parents and they will use it. Why will a child not use it? Right? So that's when the parents have to get alert that this is the time when they start needing to have a good negotiation between themselves. This is not so much a parenting problem as much as a partnership problem.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So the real thing is it's a partnership problem, it's
Yes.
not a parenting problem.
Yes.
And so that's where the root issue
That's
is.
where the root issue is.
cause is. Great, Havovi. So we've learned a lot about why polarized parenting is on the rise. It's because we are nowadays exposed to so
Yes.
much of content, and we've also realized how it's playing out in our day-to-day parenting issues. And one great thing we should keep in mind is that when your child himself comes and says
Right.
things about your partner, that's when you know that dal mein kuch kala hai. Now we have
And
to
you
be
need
careful and
Yeah.
mindful.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Most
Havovi, for
welcome.
this lovely conversation.
Thank you so much.
To know more about this topic, please read The Racing Star. An entire chapter is dedicated to this topic. To grab your copy, please click on the link in the description box.